They called me useless in my own house. They made me kneel on the kitchen floor like a servant, while 12 strangers watched in silence. But here's the truth they never knew. The house they live in, the office she brags about, the company that signs her paycheck, all of it belongs to me. And tomorrow, she'll find out the hard way. My name is Eleanor Rosamond Harrison, but everyone here just calls me Nellie. I'm 60 years old. For 3 years, I've lived in the smallest bedroom of my own home, the room my son Marcus once slept in, with faded rockets on the wallpaper, a narrow bed, a squeaky chair, a dresser I barely open. Meanwhile, Marcus and his wife, Briella, sleep in the master bedroom, moved in just for a little while when their business failed. 3 years later, I'm still the guest, morning after morning. I wake at 6, brew coffee, toast bread, set out butter and jam. My knees ache, my hands tremble, but I manage. Briella walks in, eyes sharp, voice sharper. Where's the bread, Nellie? Why isn't the table set yet? I point to the cupboard. She slams it shut. You should put it lower. I don't have time to reach. Then Marcus drifts in, eyes glued to his phone. Mom's just slower these days. That word, slower. It lands like stone in my chest. The worst was the lunch. 12 of Briella's colleagues at my dining table. I roasted meat, made gravy, steamed vegetables. She stabbed the platter with her fork. Dry. Mushy. Honestly, Nellie. Then her little performance. A plate slipped. Food splattered. She gasped loudly. Oh no, Nellie dropped it. Clean it up before it stains. 12 pairs of eyes stared. Marcus coughed, useless signal, and never looked up. So I knelt. My knee cracked. Sauce smeared my hands. A shard cut my skin. Someone whispered, should I? But Briella cut him off. It's fine. She's used to it. When the guests left, Briella clipped away in heels. I've got a meeting at Meridian Marketing. Marcus, remind your mom to finish the kitchen. He lingered, guilty but weak. Mom, Brie can be sharp, but you really are slower. I stared at him. Peace isn't ignoring cruelty. He said nothing, went upstairs. Silence filled the kitchen until I pulled out my phone. For 3 years, I let them think I was outdated, useless, but my thumb found the name, James Peterson. When he answered, I said, It's time, James. His voice was steady. Yes, Madam Harrison, everything will be ready tomorrow. I opened the velvet box, my gray business suit, pearl earrings, my grandmother's watch. I touched them. Solid. Real. That night, lying in the small bed under faded wallpaper, I stared at the pencil marks where I once measured Marcus's height. My boy. My betrayal. I pressed my hand against the wall and whispered, I'm not weak. I've just been polite too long. And tomorrow, everything will change. I woke before the alarm, 5:30. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes you listen for trouble. I brewed coffee, toasted bread, left a note. Out for errands. No details, I owed none. Shower, hair dried, gray suit on. It still fit. The fabric had more patience than I did. Pearl earrings, grandmother's watch. In the mirror, I saw a woman who could sign things. That was enough. Marcus came down the stairs, barefoot, phone in hand. He stopped at the sight of me. Where are you going? Downtown. I tied a scarf, grabbed my keys. Do you need me to drive? I'll manage. He nodded, uneasy. He felt the shift, but didn't know what to call it. The air was cool. I drove the old sedan, second gear rattling faintly. At a red light, I watched a jogger cross. Normal city things. They steadied me. The Harrison building stood the same. Glass, steel, a lobby that didn't try too hard. Frank the guard smiled like no years had passed. Good morning, Ms. Harrison, morning, Frank. I signed the log from habit. He slid it back without comment. James waited by the elevator. Navy suit, leather folder, calm eyes. Exactly how someone should look when you're about to make a cut. Everything's ready. Conference room B. The carpet was new, the smell of something I'd paid for. He opened the folder. Termination letter for Briella Richardson, effective immediately. Misconduct. No adjectives. Second document. Notice to Meridian Marketing. Breach of lease. Harassment of landlord's representative. It doesn't eject them. It sets rules. I nodded. I don't want a battlefield. We won't, James said. We'll have order. He offered a recorder. Cleaner than a phone. Time-stamped. I slipped it into my purse. Any pushback? Only whispers, he said. Complaints about her attitude. Nothing written. We'll write. I signed. My hand was steady. Eleanor R. Harrison, Chief Executive Officer. Real. Final. Security? I asked. 2 staff in the lobby. Standby only. Do you want to deliver this yourself? Yes. Elevator to 14. Meridian's floor. Frosted glass logo. Motivational posters. A thirsty ficus. I told James. 5 minutes. He waited by the elevators. Inside, the receptionist blinked when I said, Briella Richardson, please. Name given, Miss Harrison. Briella arrived in a dress that shouted ambition. Smile big, then shrinking when she saw the suit. Nellie, she said, something wrong at the house? We should talk, privately. Her office was small. Whiteboard, half-erased goals, photo of a beach that wasn't ours. She stayed standing. You can't just show up. I have meetings. This won't take long. I slid the letter across. She laughed, sharp. You don't have the authority. Read the header. Her eyes hit the words. Harrison Holdings, LLC, my signature beneath. Color drained. You're not? I am. Owner of this building. CEO, and you've been careless in both house and office. She tried to smile. Failed. Marcus would have told me. You can't even check your email. I let you think that. It made you honest. She bent the paper's edge. Meridian is my employer. You can't fire me. I'm not firing you from Meridian. I'm ending your access here and notifying them of your behavior. They'll decide the rest. Her mouth opened, closed. This is personal. It's accurate. She grabbed her phone. I'll call Marcus. Call him. Tell him 6 o'clock at the house. No answer. No reply. Her face cracked. You have 15 minutes to clear your desk. Security will escort you. I opened the door. James was waiting, steady. This is harassment, she shouted. You can sue, I said. Bring your lawyers, but bring facts. I walked out. My legs felt firm. In the elevator, James said, that went as expected. She'll come home angry. Marcus will be dragged in. Want me there? No, this part is family. In the lobby, Frank nodded. No questions, no need. On the drive home, Marcus texted. What happened? Bree is freaking out. I answered, we'll talk at 6, no more. At the grocery store, I bought bread, milk, dish soap, and cheap flowers. Small things matter. At home, I trimmed the stems, set them in a jar on the table. 5:59, I boiled water for tea. 6 o'clock, the door opened. Voices rose. Shoes hit the mat too hard. I placed 2 cups on the counter and waited. At 6 sharp, the front door banged open. Not a knock, not a push. A warning. Shoes hit the mat like they wanted the house to shake. I stood in the kitchen, pouring water into 2 mugs. Steam rose calm, unaware of what was coming. Marcus entered first. Tie loose, face flushed. Briella followed, mascara smudged, eyes red, anger burning through the mess. What the hell did you do? She shouted. I set the kettle down. Sit, both of you. They hesitated, then obeyed. Briella slammed her phone. You humiliated me in front of my colleagues, my manager. You can't just walk into my office and it's my office, I cut in. My building, my company. She blinked. No, you're lying. You're just a useless old woman? I finished. The words hung. Marcus shifted. Mom, maybe we should... I slid a folder across. Look inside. He opened it. Deeds, filings, agreements. My name on every page. Eleanor R. Harrison. His lips moved. You own all this? Yes. And I let you believe I was weak, just to see who you'd be when you thought I had nothing. Briella's jaw locked. You set us up. Spied on us. From the drawer, I placed a USB on the table. Video? Audio? You mocking me? planning to put me in a nursing home, and your credit card fraud with my name." Her face drained. Marcus whispered, "Briella, is this true?" Silence. I leaned forward. "You humiliated me. You called me slow, useless. You thought I didn't matter. Tonight, you learn otherwise." Marcus rubbed his face. "Mom, please, maybe we can fix this. Maybe Bree made mistakes, but..." "Mistakes?" My voice cut sharp. "No. She plotted. She wanted me gone. She wanted the house. And you, Marcus, you let her." He flinched like struck. Briella finally snapped. "You can't prove anything. People talk." I raised the USB. "The prosecutor will decide. Social services will see your petition to take control of me. Guardianship, wasn't it?" Her body shook with rage. "You're destroying us." "No, you destroyed yourself. I'm only turning on the lights." The clock ticked loud in the silence. Marcus whispered, "What happens now?" "You choose," I said. "Stand with her and leave this house. Or stand alone, start over. But with her, you don't stay here." Briella clutched his arm. "Don't listen. She's manipulating you." He pulled free, pale, torn. I gathered the folder and USB. My voice was steady, quiet, final. "Tonight did the table turns. For the first time in 3 years, this house is mine again." That night didn't end with my words. Houses don't reset that quickly. They hold tension in the walls. They keep it buzzing in the floorboards. Marcus didn't answer me right away. He just sat there, staring at the folder like it was a fire he couldn't put out. Briella, though, she wasn't done. She never is. "You think you can scare me with papers and old recordings?" She snapped. "No court will take you seriously. You're senile. Everyone knows it. You can barely handle a phone." I smiled, small and sharp. And yet somehow I managed to run a company for 30 years. Marcus rubbed his temples. "Both of you, please." "Marcus," I cut him off. "She's not your shield. Stop hiding behind her voice." He looked at me, shocked. He wasn't used to me talking that way. Briella slammed her hand on the table. "Enough! You think you're some kind of queen, Eleanor? You're just a lonely old woman with too much time and too much money. And if you push me..." She leaned in, lowering her voice. "I will ruin you. I'll tell everyone you're unstable. I'll drag you into court for emotional abuse. I'll spin it until you look like a paranoid freak." I held her stare. "Do it. Every lie you tell will burn faster when I play the recordings. Every threat you make is already on tape." Her face froze. She glanced at my purse where the recorder was. She realized too late that her own mouth had trapped her. Marcus whispered, "Bree, stop." But she didn't. She stood, pacing like a caged animal. "You can't just erase me, Nellie. Do you hear me? I've worked too hard to get here. I'm not going back to some dingy apartment. I deserve this house. I deserve more than this." I stayed seated, calm. "You deserve what you earn, and what you've earned is an exit." She lunged forward suddenly, hands gripping the back of my chair. For a second, I thought she might actually shove me. Marcus grabbed her arm. "Briella! Enough!" She yanked free, breathing hard. "She's destroying us, Marcus." "You're just going to let her?" He didn't answer. His silence was louder than any fight. I stood slowly. "You have until the end of the week, both of you. After that, locks change. Security will handle it if you don't." Marcus's voice cracked. "Mom, please, give us time. I can figure this out." "You have time," I said, "but you don't have control." Not anymore. Briella laughed then, a bitter, broken laugh. "You think you've won, but you don't know what I still have. You don't know who I can call." I raised an eyebrow. "Try me." She stormed out of the kitchen, heels stabbing the floor. The front door slammed so hard the picture frames rattled. Marcus stayed, his head in his hands. "Mom." "She's angry." "She's dangerous when she's like this." "She's always been dangerous," I said softly. "You just didn't want to see it." He looked up at me, torn between loyalty and fear. "What if she doesn't leave? Then she'll be escorted out." I touched the folder. And you'll have to decide if you're leaving with her. The clock ticked past midnight. The house finally went still, but it wasn't peace. It was the kind of stillness before a storm cracks open. I locked my bedroom door that night. First time in 30 years. The next morning was quiet. Too quiet. No slamming cupboards, no remarks about breakfast. Marcus had left early. I poured coffee, sat, and waited. At 9, the phone rang. Unknown number. "This is attorney Karen Schultz," a sharp voice said. "I represent Briella Richardson. She reports emotional abuse, intimidation, financial manipulation. We'll be filing for protective orders and guardianship review." I almost laughed. Guardianship? For me? Yes. Reports suggest you're no longer capable. Do you know who owns the Harrison building where your client works? I cut in. Silence. I do. And I own the footage of her harassment and fraud. Would you like it forwarded so you're properly briefed? A long pause. Then, "We'll review further." Click. I set the phone down. My hands were steady. By noon, Briella stormed in, hair wild, eyes blazing. "How dare you talk to my lawyer like that?" I sipped coffee. She called me. I told her the truth. "You twisted everything." I pulled a manila envelope from the drawer, slid it across. Credit card applications. My social security number. Your handwriting. "Do you want me to tell the police? Or will you?" She rifled the papers. Her face drained. "You set me up." "No, you set yourself up. I just kept receipts." She paced like an animal cornered. "No one will believe you. You're old, fragile, helpless." "That was the idea," I said. "And you showed me who you are." Her hands shook. Papers fell to the floor. She leaned in, voice venomous. "If you take everything, I'll drag Marcus with me. I'll make him hate you." I leaned closer. Marcus already sees the truth. When this ends, the only one he'll hate is you. She slapped the table, mugs rattled, then stormed upstairs. Half an hour later, Marcus called, his voice low. "Mom, Bree says you threatened her with police, that you're making things up." "Come home," I said. "You'll see the evidence yourself." Silence. Then, "I'll be home at 6. The day stretched ahead, but it wasn't helpless waiting anymore. It was holding a bowstring drawn tight, waiting to release. At 6, Marcus walked in. Briella followed, silent now. I placed 2 envelopes on the table. "Marcus, these are copies of her plan to put me in a nursing home, seize power of attorney. And these? Credit card fraud." Her handwriting. He opened them, page by page. Shoulders slumped, then stiffened. Finally he whispered, "Bree, tell me this isn't true." Arms crossed, chin high, she spat. "Lies. She's faking it, manipulating you." But Marcus didn't look at her. His eyes stayed on me. "Mom, what do you want me to do?" "I don't want you to do anything," I said softly. "I want you to decide. Who do you believe, and who are you willing to live with when this is over?" The house went silent again, the kind of silence that decides futures. The morning after Marcus saw the papers, the house felt like a battlefield holding its breath. He left early, eyes tired, words clipped. No kiss for Briella. That said enough. By 10, I noticed Briella moving strangely, opening cupboards she never touched, dragging boxes, rearranging the living room. I asked what she was doing. She gave me a smile so stiff it hurt. "Just cleaning. Someone has to." At noon, a knock. Mrs. Daly, my neighbor, clutching her purse. "Eleanor, Briella told me you've been confused. Forgetting things. She said you left the stove on last week. Nearly caused a fire." I froze. That never happened. Mrs. Daly hesitated. She seemed so worried. Said she might have to step in if Marcus won't. I poured her tea, steady. "She's building a case, not telling the truth. If you hear anything else, come to me, not her." Mrs. Daly nodded, doubt in her eyes. Enough for now. Later I went to change the sheets in my small room. That's when I found them. Pill bottles scattered across my nightstand. Labels with my name. Some empty, some half-filled. Footsteps. Briella leaned on the doorframe, arms crossed. You should keep better track of your medication, Nellie. Imagine if someone found this. They'd think you were abusing pills. Cold rose in my chest. You planted these. She smiled. Prove it. I lifted my phone, snapping photos of every label, every date. Recorded. Try again. Her smile flickered, then returned. You're clever, but Marcus will crack. And when he does, he'll choose me. Or he'll finally see you, I said. Her eyes narrowed. We'll see. That evening, Marcus walked in. He barely dropped his bag before Briella began her act, voice trembling just enough. Marcus, I'm worried about your mom. I found empty pill bottles in her room. She could hurt herself. Or us. Marcus turned to me. I held up my phone. Check the photos. Labels dated last month. I haven't had a prescription in years. She staged it. He scrolled, frowning. Did you bring these in? Her face went pale. Of course not. Why would I? Because you're building a case, I cut in. Marcus rubbed his forehead, torn apart. I don't know what to believe. I stepped closer. Then believe what you see, not what she says. Silence. The clock ticked. Briella's breath came sharp. Marcus sagged like the weight of 2 lives pressed on him. Finally, he muttered, I need time to think. He stepped out to the porch, leaving us alone. Briella leaned close, whispering venom. You won't win. I'll bury you under stories so deep no one will know what's real. I whispered back, cold and steady. The deeper you dig, Briella, the more likely you'll fall in yourself. Her mask cracked. For the first time, fear mingled with rage. That night, I checked every lock, slipped the folder and USB under my pillow. I wasn't afraid anymore. This wasn't family tension. This was war. It happened on a Thursday evening. I was peeling carrots when the knock came. Firm, official. At the door stood 2 police officers, and behind them a county social worker with a clipboard. Mrs. Harrison? One asked. Yes. We've had reports of unsafe living conditions, possible neglect, self-harm risk. May we come in? By the stairs, Briella hovered, arms folded, smirk cutting across her face. Of course, I said. The social worker began. We've been told you've left the stove on, forgotten medications, created unsafe conditions. Do you understand these concerns? I do, I said, and I understand where they came from. My eyes slid to Briella. The officer turned. Ma'am, are you Briella Richardson? She feigned concern. Yes, I only want what's best. She left the stove burning last week. She forgets things constantly. I've been worried sick. I lifted my phone. May I show you something? I tapped play. Security footage Briella never noticed. Her, placing pill bottles on my nightstand. Time-stamped. The social worker leaned in. That is my daughter-in-law staging evidence, I said. Empty bottles purchased online. Here are still photos with dates. None of them prescribed to me, confirmed by the pharmacy. The officers exchanged looks. And the stove? Another clip. Briella turning the burner on, leaving it lit, walking away. Her face drained. That's out of context. Ma'am, it's video, the officer said. Context seems clear. Marcus walked in, froze at the uniforms. What's going on? The social worker answered. Your wife made claims about your mother's safety. We've just seen proof otherwise. Marcus's eyes swung between us. She's been making this up? Not making it up, I said. Manufacturing it. The officer stepped forward. Ma'am, we'll need you to come give a statement. Briella's mask cracked. You can't do this. She's manipulating you. Enough, Marcus snapped, louder than I'd ever heard. I saw the papers. I see the footage. Stop lying. The house fell silent, except for Briella's ragged breathing. She grabbed her purse, glared at me like she could set me on fire. This isn't over, she spat as the officers escorted her out. The door shut. The house exhaled. Marcus sank into a chair, face in his hands. God, Mom, what have I let her do? I touched his shoulder. You let her in, but you don't have to let her stay. He didn't answer. Not yet. but his silence was breaking. That night, for the first time in years, I slept with my door unlocked, because the threat wasn't in my house anymore. The week after the police came felt like the eye of a storm. The chaos had moved out, but the air was still heavy. Briella never came home. By Friday, her things were gone, closet bare, hangers swinging. Marcus said nothing, but the relief in his shoulders spoke louder than words. Saturday morning, a knock. Not police, delivery. A thick envelope. Inside, Briella's termination from Meridian Marketing. Misconduct. Lease violation. Breach of ethics. James had followed through. Marcus sat staring at the letter, then at me. "It's over, isn't it?" he whispered. "For her, yes," I said. "For you, not yet." He rubbed his face. "She lied, schemed, dragged me into it. But she's still my wife." "You stood by while she humiliated me," I said. "You let her voice matter more than my dignity. That was your choice. Now you choose again, her or yourself, not both." His eyes shone, though he fought it. I didn't want to believe. I told myself it was stress, pressure, bad days. "Bad days don't involve forged signatures," I said, "or planting pills, or trying to lock me in a nursing home." He dropped his head into his hands. "I'm sorry, Mom. I let silence do the work. Apologies are words. Choices are proof." By Sunday, Marcus packed a bag. "I need time to think." I didn't stop him. I watched him drive away. My son, the boy once measured against the wall, now a man bent by wrong loyalties. The house was quiet after, not tense, not waiting, just quiet. I walked through each room, the master bedroom, stripped of Briella's perfume, the kitchen, orderly, the living room still holding family photos, and my small guest room, the exile I'd lived in for 3 years. I paused, then carried my things down the hall, back into the master, my bedroom. That night I lay in my own bed again. I could almost hear my husband in the walls. "You did it. You took it back." Monday morning I didn't make toast, didn't brew coffee for anyone else. I dressed in my gray suit, pearl earrings, and drove downtown. The Harrison building gleamed. James met me in the lobby. "Welcome back, Madam Harrison," he said with a smile. "Not Madam," I replied. "Just Eleanor. I think I'll be here a while." That day I sat in my office again. Papers to sign, meetings to hold, faces looking at me with respect instead of pity. It felt like stepping back into skin that always fit. That evening at home I opened a bottle of wine. 1 glass. I stood at the window, the sun sinking behind rooftops. "I am not useless," I whispered. I was never useless. I was waiting. And now, I'm done waiting. I raised the glass to my reflection, to the house, to the life, to the strength no one will take from me again. For the first time in 3 years, I was free.